James, what will you be watching for on this Monday? Does the UN actually do something? And to Francine's good question in the last hour, do you just assume more sanctions?
It's easier to explain why this has happened than to explain where it's going. In direct answer to your question, it is helpful to Ukraine at this point that there have been strong statements from the EU and from NATO, and so the West has taken a fairly tough, cohesive, but of course purely declaratory and rhetorical line on all of this. With a Russian veto in the UN Security Council, there's no possibility of the UN doing something. But I think it's important to understand that one way or another this is going to roll on, because the issues that Russia is responding to are very serious. First, I think that this is an asymmetrical and highly escalatory response to something we've been waiting for a while, and it's the first of many, and that's Russia's response to the decision of the Ecumenical Patriarch in Constantinople grant independent canonical status to the Ukrainian, what had been the Ukrainian Patriarchate of the Russian Orthodox Church. This, for Russia, is a big deal. This state is wedded to the view that Russian civilization extends well beyond Russia's borders. The church is a key factor here. The second issue is the upcoming presidential elections in Ukraine next March. They would love to encourage President Poroshenko to do what he's already tempted to do, to hand him an excuse to declare martial law, to postpone those elections in the hope of creating a third Maidan, putting people on the street again, and giving a real boost to his principal opponent, Yulia Tymoshenko, who is talking about a peace plan and compromise with Russia and all of that. So all of this plays into that scenario.
James Sherr. Let me just jump in here, because, I mean, you put the context beautifully, but more concretely, why would Vladimir Putin do this a week before the G20? Is it leverage? Is it bargaining power?
Russia has been demonstrating consistently that they are willing to be very bloody-minded in defense of their interests. They're not looking for our approval. They don't care what we think about it. Their deputy, one of their best, most seasoned deputy foreign ministers recently said, look, you are our adversary. You regard us as an adversary. Why should we care what you think? What they do want us to understand is that Russia is important. You cannot isolate Russia. You cannot ignore Russia. And so the timing makes perfect sense from that point of view.